Avatar Studios has been hard at work to create various projects that may have some of you very excited and others of you very worried about what is to come. What I want to discuss in today's video with you all is how we are feeling about these new projects coming out, my overall thoughts on the projects, what I expect to see from the projects overall, and which ones I'm most excited for. I must admit, I have not heard all the latest news on the projects, so there may be some projects that I have completely skipped over. Let me know which projects that I did not include in this video that you all are most excited about as well. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Based on the leak slate reported by Night Edge Media, which the article will be in the link in the description, we can see a full picture of what Avatar Studios is seemingly planning for future projects. First on the list is the Netflix Avatar show, which will be releasing seasons 2 and 3. As to why this is incorporated on the timeline in a leaked Paramount video from the leaked timeline is not entirely clear. However, this could simply be to draw in fans of the Netflix Avatar show who haven't been introduced to the OG series or Legend of Korra or anything that Mike and Brian have created in the past, broadening the overall Avatar community and drawing the Avatar community together. I don't know, that's just my best guess. I must admit as well, I have not fully seen the series. I've only seen the first few episodes, and I'll just put it this way, did not find myself enjoying the show as much as I thought I would, or hoped I would. So, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Next, we have the adult Aang movie. This will be Avatar Studios' first Avatar project coming out within this timeline. This movie will be released in theaters January 2026, so exactly a year away from the posting of this video. This movie will seemingly be an Aang-centric movie, being set in a time period in which the gang are in their 20s, more specifically 12 years after the events of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Here is a list of the confirmed cast members, with Eric Nam voicing Aang, Jessica Matten voicing Katara, Ramon Zaragoza voicing Sokka, and Dion Kwon voicing Toph. This film will also introduce Dave Bautista to voice the villain of the film, and probably the villain for the subsequent 2 films, in which I will mention later on. It will be interesting to see how Dave Bautista will perform in this role, in this big bad role. Although not yet officially confirmed, it has been heavily rumored that Dante Basco will be returning as Zuko in the film, which will be really, really exciting, getting Dante Basco back onto the voice acting scene within the Avatar universe. Next on the list is the new Avatar series titled Avatar 7 Havens. Leaks about the new series indicated that the series will be following twins named Avatar Pavi and Avatar Nisha. The show takes place in a post-apocalyptic world in which a cataclysmic event involving Avatar Korra reshapes the world into 7 havens from the traditional 4 nations that we are previously used to seeing. It's very interesting that we will be getting twins for the next Earth Avatars, which will be really interesting. Since Korra absorbed Vaatu at the end of Season 2 in The Legend of Korra, I would imagine that one of the Avatar twins would have the spirit of Vaatu, whereas the other Avatar would have the spirit of Raava. And just that overall dynamic playing out would be very interesting, considering that Vaatu isn't necessarily an evil spirit per se, but just a spirit that just has very little regard for human life. Knowing that Korra absorbed Vaatu at the end of Season 2 of The Legend of Korra, this would be interesting to see the dynamic between Raava and Vaatu within these 2 twins. Would there be this harmonic dance between the two, between chaos and light and order. This would be very interesting to see, especially knowing that both these twins will still have their very much so their personalities and their behaviors intact, despite having Rava and Vaatu infused inside them. Based on these leaks, I do think the creators here are taking such a big risk, especially with destroying the four nations that we have all come to know and love, and especially having that done by the hands of Avatar Korra. More so, my concern with this is, how does Korra destroy the nations? Will we get to see a flashback of that in the show? Or how exactly does she pull this off? Considering that, especially in the time of Avatar The Last Airbender, we learned that the Avatar state is infused with the knowledge and power of the past avatars. So Korra, being an avatar who is the only one in the new reset of the Avatar state, how exactly is she going to pull this off? So, for me, I'm just hoping that they have a logical explanation as to why and how Korra destroys the foreign nations, or else, without a proper explanation, I just don't know if this show will be as successful and as well received by the fan base. But I will say, I do admire the bravery of doing something completely radical such as this. As I mentioned earlier, the adult Aang movie would be featured by 2 more films that will also be theatrical releases. I'm not entirely sure exactly what these films will be, what Avatar Studios is planning here, whether these movies will be a continuation of the Aang movie. Seemingly from this leaked timeline, it seems as if this will be a trilogy following the first adult Aang movie that will be released. As far as what I would want to see from the other 2 theatrical films, I hope that the creators go in one or 2 directions. I hope that the creators either form this trilogy and not have it be very Aang-centric, but pull back the lens from Aang a little bit and let us explore the gang once more and get to love them in their dynamic altogether. Especially considering that with Zuko being Fire Lord and having to deal with issues in the Fire Nation, allowing us to get a glimpse into what's happening with Zuko, and who knows, maybe Zuko being able to join in the last film and help defeat this big bad that's threatening the nature of the balance between the four nations. So, another avenue that Avatar Studios could do with these 2 films that I would hope to see would be like a Kyoshi film, where Kyoshi is the main focus, in which we get to see her time as this shy 9-year-old kid being raised in Jeonju's mansion, and seeing the events of the rise of Kyoshi play out on the big screen. That would be such a delight to see, and adding in more things, more details, and really seeing more of Kyoshi's life, as most of the fandom, I'm sure, would love to see as well. A third movie that would be very interesting to see is a Zuko movie, as originally announced, seeing the overall complexities within the Fire Nation and how Zuko plans to rebuild the Fire Nation, especially knowing that his sister Azula is a major thorn in his side as far as disrupting plans and creating division and really halting progress as far as reuniting the Fire Nation. Set to be released between the second and third film is a new airbending series. No information has been released about this project at the time of this recording. With this project, I would love to see the series to take place before the Air Nomad genocide, primarily because we haven't really seen much of the Air Nomad culture pre-genocide on any big screen or series or anything like that. other than the novels. Most information we know about the Airbenders in this time period have primarily been from the novels and also from flashbacks from the original series. Getting to explore the nuances that existed within the Air Nomad Society would be really, really fascinating to see, especially considering that within just about all three nations we've seen just these nuances of thought, of ideology, and just these conflicting natures that exist within each of these nations, but we haven't quite seen much of that in the Air Nation and the Air Nomad culture pre-genocide. So one thing I hope to see from this series is this inner conflict within the Air Nomad nation, especially how this could be done. One potential route that I could see this going is having this threat that is threatening the balance of the four nations. Most information we know about the Airbenders before the genocide have primarily been from the novels, along with flashbacks from the original series. Getting to explore the nuances that existed within the Air Nomad Society would be really fascinating to see. It would be great for this show to explore the nuances. Specifically, what I'm primarily most interested in is the Air Nomad fighting style, and avoid and evading and using as little force as possible. And it would be fascinating to see if there is this threat that comes about between the four nations that require the Airbenders to step in and be involved, and then bringing into question how much and when should force be used to be considered necessary. And that would be a really fascinating topic to dive into, to really see the nuances of thought within the Air Nomad culture. As we've seen with Master Kelsong, as we've seen him kill a fleet of pirates in the Rise of Kyoshi novel in order to keep peace and balance throughout the four nations in the absence of Karuk and in the interim of searching for the new avatar. So it would be interesting to see the overall dynamics as far as just the individual thoughts between the Airbenders, and really seeing if this is a truly homogeneous culture, especially in ideology, or is there diversity in thought. Lastly, there is a firebending project in the works that will not be a series or film. I have very little thoughts on this project as there is no information released at the moment, but I will say I really hope that this project does end up being a video game that will be released to both console and PC. Overall, I am really excited that the original creators are coming back to create more Avatar content for us to enjoy and love. I am personally really excited for the Airbender series, as this series could give us a chance to explore the Air Nomad Society in a much more nuanced way that we haven't quite seen before on screen, which would be really, really, really exciting to see, as this would add so much depth to the Airbenders. Additionally, I can't wait to see our favorite gang back as adults on the big screen, and just getting to see their overall character development off screen since the end of the series, and also since the end of the Imbalance comic, and getting to see where they are now and how their overall development has changed them for the better and hopefully not for the worst. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. What projects are you all most excited for? Which projects do you think are missing from their potential plans? I will also preface by saying that this is a leaked timeline, so this, take it with a grain of salt, as some projects may or may not be altered or changed as a result of the timeline being leaked. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic crabby day. Peace.